remain standing as the county sheriff cover.
Oh, God. Very good. Forward. Up. Whoa. Those up. Move. Reason. Oh.
All right, at this point, Judge Leontiev's children, Erik, Evelyn, Joseph, Erin, Carolyn, and Madeline will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And at this point, Judge Leontiev's judicial assistant, Phoebe Young, will now join us to sing the national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we did at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say just that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Forward. Up.
Okay, everyone, please be seated. I think I'd like to start by saying, I don't know where we're going to top that. That maybe was the best Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem I've ever had. That was wonderful. The kids and stuff was being young. I've always heard that is an incredibly difficult song to sing. I can't sing Happy Birthday, so I wouldn't know. But that was incredible. So we are here for Judge Leontiev's investiture. And I just want to welcome him to our group. He is the last of what I call the COVID judges. We have baby boomers, we have COVID judges who had to wait an extraordinarily long amount of time before they could have their investiture. And he has now been a judge for 8 months, coming up on 9 months, I believe. And like the other COVID judges, I've had the opportunity to actually see him in practice, actually see him doing the job. And so, historically, I've come up here and said, hey, look, I'm real comfortable with this person. I really think they're going to do a good job. But I have a unique ability and position with judges who actually serve for this amount of time. They've actually done it. They're actually doing a great job. I've been a judge for about 16 years, and I had a circumstance that came in front of me not too long ago that was brought in front of me about something that had happened in a courtroom with another judge that really concerned me. And it was conduct of someone in that courtroom. And as a judge, you kind of have these, conflicting issues, for what do I do? How do I intercede? You need to make sure that your courtroom is being held, it's being run properly, that the respect, not just to the court, but to the proceeding is maintained. And, I had to think about it a long time and make a decision for how I was going to go forward with this. And I bring this up because soon after I had that problem, I had our new judge come to me, and I say new because I think that's important for this story, and bring an issue to me which was exactly the same as the issue that I had just dealt with. And why I think that's so important is with a young judge who normally wouldn't have the confidence to kind of hit that head on, and quite frankly, could have just turned their heads and, I'll just let it go, I'll leave it alone. If I do nothing, it'll probably go away. I don't have to deal with this. It was refreshing to see him step up, willing to deal with that issue and address the issue head on. And he did. And one of the things that he said to me is, hey, look, I know I'm a new judge, and so I hate to bring up this, to talk about this. And I was quite frankly comforted by the fact that I had just gone through it and I wasn't the only one. I was actually very happy to say, hey, look, I had literally the exact same issue with the exact same parties involved as you did. And so I really appreciated the fact that he not only understood that he needed to deal with the issue, which was uncomfortable, but he also felt comfortable to come talk to someone about it. And that was wonderful. I met him very soon before he actually got appointed to the position. Clusan, of course, during the pandemic on, I think a Zoom call where they moved us all around to talk, and that was the first time that I met with him. And I know after that initial conversation, the thought that I have is, wow, here's someone who is really smart and introspective and actually thinks about things. And I was struck by that. And so when I saw his name actually up with the governor's office, and I began to talk to other people about it, it was refreshing once again to hear from other people that have the same exact opinion. And so you hear a little bit more about that from the speakers coming up. But I just wanted to welcome you and welcome everyone to this investiture and his celebration. But with that, we will call Dr. Tom Askell up for the invocation.
Let's pray. Our God and Father, we bow before you on this occasion because you are the King and the ruler of the earth. You created all things. Everything exists because of you. Give us your Son, the Lord Jesus. It is in his name that we come to you now, asking for your blessings and your favor on this judicial system and upon Judge Leontiev. We thank you for Erik, Margot, their children, for all that you have invested in them to bring him to this point. We pray for him as he sits upon this bench and makes rulings, that you would remind him to rule in the fear of the living God, that you, the just one, have ordained what is justice, that he might seek wisdom, as we have just heard he does, in order to make decisions that would be good for the citizens of this county. We thank you for your favor upon us in granting us laws, in granting us judges and law enforcement officials and others who serve in this courtroom for the good of the citizens here. Help us to receive these blessings from your hand and to offer up thanksgiving to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, at this point, I'm going to allow the judges of the 20th Circuit who are here to go ahead and introduce themselves. And we will start with Judge Sweat.
Judge Sweat, Lee County Judge. Good afternoon, Zach Gill, Lee County Court Judge. I serve in the Civil Division.
Good afternoon, Nicole Mira, Lee County Court Judge, and I serve in the Civil Division. Josephine Gagliardi, County Court Judge. I serve in the Criminal Division. I also handle the Felony Adult Drug Court and the Health Court and Veterans.
Good afternoon, Devin George, Lee County Judge. I serve in the Criminal Division.
I'm Archie Hayward. I'm one of the 9 county court judges, and I serve in the Criminal Division.
My name is Shannon McPhee. I'm a circuit court judge in Collier County doing dependency and delinquency.
Afternoon, I'm Joe Foster. I'm a circuit court judge in Collier County as well. I serve in the felony division, and I also have the privilege of serving in the mental health court and veterans treatment court.
Good afternoon, I'm Tara Pescado-Calic. I'm a Lee County Judge, and I'm in the Criminal Division.
Hello, everyone. My name is Frank Porter. I'm a circuit judge. I'm assigned to the felony division here in Lee County.
I'm Lauren Brody. I'm from Collier County. I serve in the Circuit Civil Division.
Good afternoon, my name is Peter Bell. I'm County Court Judge in Charlotte County, doing half the civil and half the criminal. I also do juvenile delinquency court, and this coming Monday I get to cover for the mental health court for the judge that actually does the work.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Shanko. I'm a circuit court judge here in Lee County, currently assigned to the civil probate guardianship. I'm Erik Leontiev, Lee County Judge, serving in the Civil Division.
Next, I want to acknowledge our judicial assistants who are sitting over here to the right, and I'm going to embarrass them and have them stand up. They do it. I like to bring this up as much as possible. We have one assistant in our office. I mean, and that's it. So everything that goes through our office, whether it's paperwork, scheduling, or frankly, complaint department, goes through, that one person. And, now after the national anthem, I think I'm going to say our JA do their job as well as when we've done the same. They're really an exceptional group and really do appreciate, all that they do. And so wanted to make sure that we acknowledge them. Next, I wanted to acknowledge our trial court administrator, Scott Wilsker, who is sitting up front here. He basically, kind of steers this ship. We are a very large organization. We are in 5 counties. We have 5 courthouses. We have hundreds of employees with lots of court proceedings that are constantly, going on. There are constant problems, constant fires, constant issues that have to be dealt with. And he handles them masterfully and tells me what I need to do. And so I appreciate that. And thank you. Next, we have several dignitaries in the room today. We have Kathy Smith, our public defender. Fox, our state attorney, who will be speaking in a little bit. Mayor Kevin Anderson. Clerk Kevin Barnes. Our regional conflict counsel, even whose name written down, but not a check next to it. We believe maybe she is not here. Okay. And I like to say, people who are willing to take on these types of positions and go through the process of being public officials like they are, takes a very special person. It is a very difficult job when you're continually being critiqued by the public, by the press, and by everyone else. And I'm just so proud of all the people that we have served in our circuit and our county, everything that they do. And, going through difficulties, including things like the pandemic, and being able to work with them and move our circuit forward has been an absolute privilege. And so I appreciate everything that all of them did. So thank you. And maybe a round of applause. I'd like to ask if there are any other elected official that maybe stepped in that I did. this point, Judge Leontiev will step up, and there are a number of organizations who would like to present gifts for you. All right, the first presentation is by the Honorable Peter Bell, who will present a gift from the Florida Conference of County Court Judges.
Well, good afternoon. As indicated, my name is Peter Bell. I represent the Conference of County Court Judges here in the state of Florida. That conference is a group of the 300 or so county court judges statewide. Every county court judge is a member of the conference, including now Judge Leontiev. The circuit judges have a conference as well. They have approximately 500 members of their conference, but circuit judges are clearly not as cool as county court judges. They have to deal with all those weighty issues, those cerebral issues that we really get to deal with the people a lot. So I appreciate not having to think a lot of my job. And so they ask that every time a judge becomes invested, that we go ahead and present them with something to recognize the date, their commission, and this accomplishment in their lives. In learning about Judge Leontiev and his past and his life, the person that came to mind as a parallel was actually Abraham Lincoln, and probably not for the reason you think. Abraham Lincoln had goals and aspirations in life. He wanted to accomplish certain things, and many of them he did not accomplish. He was active in his state legislature, but he had goals. He wanted to get involved in the representation of his state at the federal level. And so he ran for Senate in 1854, and he was defeated. He lost that election. In 1856, he sought the vice presidential nomination for the U.S., and he was defeated. 2 years later, he once again ran for the U.S. Senate, and he failed to accomplish that goal. And then in 1860, he ran for president and was elected. He was successful in achieving that goal. And so I thought of Judge Leontiev and did a little research on his background and what his goals and aspirations were. And I found out from speaking with some of his family members that one of his early goals that he explained to his family, he says, when I become an adult, I want to be short. 5'8". Clearly a fake. He also said he wanted to grow up and become a block mason and build things, structures, things you could point to. All he could accomplish was becoming an attorney. And he also said, when I grow up, I want to wear glasses. Cool people wear glasses. Clearly, he has failed. But he also said, I want to be an attorney and a judge. And he has accomplished that goal. So like Abraham Lincoln, he persisted and he kept on going until he accomplished that goal. And so I'm here today to recognize that accomplishment with this plaque that is presented on behalf of the Conference of County Court Judges. Last month, I was here presenting another plaque. It's uncertain as to what I find inside because I had two of them, but this one I'm confident is for Judge Leontiev, commissioned October 8, 2021. Congratulations.
All right. The next presentation is from the Lee County Bar Association. I had to look down because Tiffany Ferrer is involved in so many organizations. I'm not sure which one she's here for, but this is on behalf of the Lee County Bar Association.
One, they don't have anything to do, they're not involved in anything, so they're amazing. I can't promise to read up on this, but something about raising the month of wedding days, we raise the month of or already exists in order to really kind of access to every single event and
Andrew Reese is president of the Collier County Bar Association.
I had the pleasure of meeting Judge Leontiev last October when I managed to leave him off the list of dignitaries I was supposed to introduce at one of our events. So hopefully he's forgiven us by now. But on behalf of the Collier County Bar Association, I'm pleased to present you with this gift commemorating your investiture. Thank you for the support you've already shown for our association. Look forward to working with you for years to come.
Grady, Director of the Collier County Women's Bar Association, is here to present their.
Here on behalf of the Collier County Women's Bar Association to present you with this lovely Tiffany bag. And a beautiful shiny pen that you probably will never use because everything's electronic now. Congratulations.
And finally, we welcome Evan Schlitt from the Henry Glades Bar Association for their presentation.
Hello, my name is Evan Chapman. I'm from the Henry County and Glades County Bar Association. Congratulations on your investiture and continued success. I've only heard great things. It's not Tiffany, but it's what's on the inside that counts.
All right, that is the end of the presentation. All right, we have two guest speakers here today. The first speaker is State Attorney Mira Fox. Fox is the State Attorney for the 20th Judicial Circuit and the former boss judge. She was elected State Attorney in 2018, becoming the third State Attorney of the 20th Judicial Circuit and the first female State Attorney of the 20th Judicial Circuit. She was reelected without opposition in 2022. She has prosecuted hundreds of cases, including numerous first-degree murder, death penalty cases. She leads an office of over 120 assistant state attorneys and staff of approximately 300 employees. She serves as the secretary of the FDAA as well as on the Attorney General's Council on Human Trafficking in the Florida Supreme Court's Criminal Court Steering Committee. Now, all of that I think came from the website. And so on a more personal level, we are blessed to have the best state attorney in the state of Florida. And once again, her and Kathy, and Kevin and everyone that we deal with, it really is a pleasure. So with that, I'm Mayor Fox.
Thank you so much, Judge McHugh, and good afternoon to you, Your Honors, our wonderful audience and legal community here in Southwest Florida, and most importantly, family and friends of Judge Leontiev. And good afternoon to you, Judge Leontiev. I'm so honored to be standing here today to talk about you, our latest addition to the Lee County bench, someone who has made me and my predecessor, Steve Russell, our former state attorney, who I see out there in the audience, and our entire SAO family. I know so many of them are here to support Erik today. You've made us so, so very proud. So I want to tell you a little bit about Judge Leontiev's history, so you understand what an incredibly well-rounded attorney and individual he is. One of just the many attributes that are going to continue, because he's already a wonderful judge, but continue to make him a wonderful judge. He started in the misdemeanor division in Collier County in 2007. He was promoted to felony 2 years later. And listen, in those days, going from misdemeanor to felony in Collier County in 2 years was really, really fast, because it took about 5 years sometimes for some people. He then went on, after being in felony, when it was obvious how thoughtful he was, how skilled he was, he had so much attention to detail in all his cases that naturally he had to go to the economic crime unit and handle the most complex cases that we handle, where he stayed working in both Lee and Collier, traveling between all 5 counties, but housed in both of those counties, where he stayed for several years. But then he wasn't finished. He needed to well-round himself even more. So he came back to Lee County to the felony unit where he handled some of the most incredibly difficult cases we handle in our office, which are the special victim unit cases. He spent several years doing that, but he had to round himself out even more. We all see this as worked, your plan of making yourself so well-rounded and then becoming a judge, as Judge Bell just talked about. I guess there was a plan in mind. So Erik then went to our post-conviction unit, where he handled, again, very complex motion hearings, and he single-handedly handled our sexually violent predator, Jimmy Rice, civil commitment proceeding cases. Erik always went about his work in our office with the utmost dedication, always with an excellent work product, followed the law no matter what the consequences. Erik, if he could be handling, and I'm sorry I keep calling you Erik, Judge Leontiev could be handling the old habits die hard. He could be handling the most heinous person in a proceeding. And if the evidence wasn't there, and he knew he couldn't go forward, he wouldn't, and he would never put forward an argument otherwise, because that's the type of person he is, and that's why he's going to continue to be such a great judge. He followed the law. He was no fuss, no drama. He just came to work every day and worked incredibly hard and had really excellent results in everything he did. And even though he may have been very quiet in the office, never once singing his own praises, and you all who worked with him know what I'm talking about.
I'm not seeing any way to turn that off.
When he went to the courtroom, he was the opposite of quiet. If you've seen Judge Leontiev in trial, you will know that he was a phenomenal, I'm saying was because you're a judge now. You don't get to do that part anymore. He was a phenomenal trial attorney. When he was in trial, the buzz in the office was from assistant state attorneys, staff, support staff, investigators, and the judges. Have you seen Erik Leontiev in trial? If you haven't, you better go watch him. And my goodness, talk about always prepared, organized, always with a winning strategy, and most importantly, with the skill and personality that won over his colleagues and every single jury he ever appeared in front of.
Now they're saying it's too loud.
And Judge Leontiev did all of this while raising a wonderful family of these 6 kids. Congratulations on a wonderful pledge of allegiance, leading us all in that. When Judge Leontiev told me he was having his 4th child, I was absolutely astounded, because this is a person who seemed to me to always be working. And then number 5 and then number 6, I really didn't believe him. Judge Leontiev, I see the proof now. You've proven this to me. You know, it takes a really special person to be such a great attorney and balance work life with family life and 6 children. And it also takes, I want to say, a really special spouse, Margot, and a really wonderful family and extended family of support. And Judge Leontiev, you have that, and you'll always have that. And you'll always have your family at the SAO for support for you. I'm surprised there was any room for anyone else in the courtroom with this large family, Margot, but it's wonderful. By the way, Erik's family includes a long line of public servants just like him. His dad, a career military man, his sister, an assistant U.S. attorney, and a brother-in-law in the Secret Service who did many years of United States Attorney General detail. That must have been interesting. So, you know, did you all just hear me say that Erik was low drama? This is the part you've been dreading. He's really not that low drama. In fact, that part of what I said really isn't very true. Erik, in case you did not know this, is actually quite an actor. Margot said, oh no. So judges, in case you ever want to put on an educational skit, I just want to give you a few tidbits. Judge Leontiev puts on such a good French accent that our own assistant state attorney, whose French is his first language, says that Eric's, and he's here today, so he can back me up, Eric's French accent is better than his. And if you ask Erik to play any French character of any movie or role, he will not only put on that accent, but he will dress the part. He has played a French chef fully dressed in a skit for our office. This is good for Inns of Court too, FYI, Inns of Court group. He has played Lumiere, the little candelabra with the candlesticks from Beauty and the Beast. And he doesn't just stick to French roles. He also has played a detective in a skit where he measured a body and moved the body around and did all sorts of other suspicious things. And he may even pose for a picture while he's in the Keys with another assistant state attorney doing a conflict assignment. He may even pose for a picture dressed with the other ASA as Crockett and Tubbs from Miami Vice. And you all can ask Judge Leontiev at the reception which one he was. Maybe you can guess. Maybe he'll even show you the picture. And finally, Judge Leontiev's starring role as an actor has been playing Judge Ramiro Monalich's son/brother. I'm very disappointed that he's not here today for me to point out the similarity. One of our favorite moments in the Naples office, and I see some of your Naples colleagues here today, one of whom was even sitting with you when this happened, when Judge Leontiev was pre-trying a witness in a case, and all of a sudden the victim in the case, who he was pre-trying, looked up at him and said, "Are you Ramiro's son?" And he got me with his acting. Any of you who watched or were there for his Judicial Nominating Commission interview saw him walk into that room like I did. I was watching via Zoom. Look at the commissioners on the JNC and say, I have to tell you something right now. I've got to get this out of the way right now. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, what is he about to say? I've been a glowing reference for him. I didn't know anything bad about this guy. And he said, I am not related in any way, shape, or form to Judge Ramiro Monalich. So you got me. You got everybody in the room that day. I don't know, son, brother, related, not related. You judges are going to be the judge of that. Anyway, back to a serious and final note. Judge Leontiev, I, Steve Russell, your other colleagues at the State Attorney's Office could not be more proud that you have taken the bench after a brilliant career at the State Attorney's Office. Just as our other newest county court judge, Judge Nicole Mira, after her brilliant career with the office, and by the way, 50% of our judges in Lee County came through a career at the State Attorney's Office, including our Chief Judge, Judge McHugh. I know that you will do an absolutely wonderful job serving the citizens of Southwest Florida. I know you will continue to always follow the law, serve with excellence, and with your tremendous sense of integrity and fairness to all. Congratulations.
This should be a good warning to people who are picking speakers. Be careful with how much they know to speak on your behalf. But thank you, Amira, with that. And I also wanted to note again, your kids are wonderful. I mean, in my investiture, I mean, my sons were 5 and 7, and I think my daughter was 2 months old. 2 months old. She made me more than I was terrified. Wow, they're just wonderful. But anyway, okay, the next speaker is Lisa Leontiev. Ms. Leontiev is a licensed attorney and Judge Leontiev's sister. She received her undergraduate degree from Florida International University and her law degree from Cornell Law School. She practiced law for 6 years at Shook, Hardy, and Bacon in Miami, Florida, in their products liability defense group. She then served 7 years as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Western District of Texas in both the civil and criminal divisions. Presently, she works as a senior counsel for employment and investigations at the U.S. Department of Treasury, Inspector General's office in Alexandria, Virginia. Welcome.
Hello. So when I was asked to give a speech about my brother, I racked my brain for stories I could tell. Some little anecdote I can share that would give you a sense of who he is as a person before he was a lawyer. And unfortunately, the only stories I could think of were the really stupid things we did when we were teenagers. And my cousin was present at many of those incidents. And I don't think those are stories he wants me to share. So instead, I'm going to talk about where he comes from and the legacy that he brings to this new role as judge. And that is a legacy of perseverance, hard work, and service. Starting with my grandparents. On my father's side, my grandfather was born in the Soviet Union. He grew up under Stalin, and when he was a young man, he was conscripted into the Soviet military to serve fighting against the Nazis. He doesn't talk about this experience in his life, as I'm sure anyone who reads about the Soviet soldiers' experience in World War II could understand. I'm sure it was hellish. But he fought the Nazis. He was captured and taken to a prisoner of war camp where he escaped. And rather than return to the Soviet Union and life under Stalin, he fled to Argentina. And that's where he met my grandmother. She and her family had fled what was, I believe, the Ukraine, possibly Poland, ahead of the Nazis many years before. And I think they actually came in and burned down her village. So my father was born and raised in Argentina, and when he was 12 years old, his parents decided to flee the economic uncertainty of Argentina and start over again in the United States. So the family, the 7 children, boarded a boat and left Buenos Aires and went to California, where my father graduated high school and decided to serve his country by joining the Air Force. My parents met in California, and my mother's journey there was not unlike my father's. When she was a teenager in high school, my grandfather decided to come to the United States. He worked as a migrant farm worker and opened a small restaurant. He brought the kids over and they worked evenings and weekends and went to school during the day. There came a time when he moved away and he left his teenage kids to fend for themselves. Fortunately, the eldest, my Auntie Bobby's, who is here today, is one of the most amazing,
resilient and hardworking people I have ever known. She was and she continues to be. And she worked to provide for her siblings so that they could continue school and eventually graduate high school. So they were in a country where, you know, they didn't speak the language. Well, they were just learning the language. They didn't have parents to take care of them, to protect them, or provide for them. They managed to all graduate from high school and go on and better themselves. They all started beautiful families and provided for those families, provided opportunities for those families. As I mentioned earlier, my father served in the Air Force, and when my parents married, their first overseas station was to Germany. My brother and I grew up on military bases all over the world. First Germany, Panama, Kansas, several places in between. But growing up on these military bases, we grew up keenly aware that service to our country was part of our family culture, and that it was in response to the opportunities that my parents, my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts had been given when they came to this country. And these were opportunities that, you know, they took a hold of, and through their hard work and their perseverance and dedication, they multiplied these opportunities. And they passed it down to the generations, to me, to Erik, and to my cousins, and now to our children. So the opportunities that we had to, you know, to live in freedom, to live free from want, to live in peace, these opportunities were in large part the result of the decisions made by the people that came before us. The people, you know, are, as I mentioned, are my family, who's many of whom are here today. And those decisions to work hard and to persevere when success was not given. And they have all succeeded in building happy families, providing for themselves and for their children, and providing opportunities that they never had for us. And these are opportunities that, you know, Erik took advantage of, and I think this is the legacy that he inherits and that he brings with him to this new position as judge. And so while I didn't give you any, you know, naughty stories about us as kids, I hope that, and I truly believe that telling you where he comes from tells you all you need to know about who he is and the kind of judge that he will be going forward.
What a great story. You know, that's, I think, the thing I like the most about these investitures, is hearing the speakers and getting to know about people that you know that you don't. So thank you. That was wonderful. But at this point, Circuit Judge Jim Schenko will deliver the oath of office. Judge Leontiev tried numerous cases before Judge Schenko as an assistant state attorney in Collier County. Judge Leontiev said Judge Schenko also advised and mentored him on important career decisions. And yet, still here he is. He is thankful for his advice and the time he took to share it with us. With that, Judge Shenka, Judge Leontiev, and our Governor Leontiev would like to come forward.
I, Erik Leontiev, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend, that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office, under the Constitution of the state, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of county court judge, on which I am now about to enter. So,
We will now help with his enrollment. Take advantage of the dark show. Back to you, our newly sworn Lee County Judge, Erik Leontiev.
Judge, will please report, distinguished guests, my family, friends. I count today's investiture as one of the great honors of my life. And I am grateful for all of you being here to share it with me. Even more so, under the conditions of the weather, I was concerned that this may have been canceled. I'm even more grateful that all of you braved the weather and came out today. I really appreciate it. Those who know me, and as I'm sure you've gathered from some of the comments, I have developed a reputation over the years. Many people have told me being the most talkative person in the room. So I'm going to restrain myself and try and keep my comments brief, but I have many people to thank. First and foremost, I am grateful to God for the way He has ordered my steps. Lisa did such a great job retracing some of those steps, going back to our grandparents, honoring legacy, honoring our family's journey. Grateful for you, grateful that over the years you have been there with me, for me, not have asked for better. I also could not have asked for a nobler, kinder, more compassionate, salt of the earth group of friends and the members of Grace Baptist Church, many of whom I see here. Mr. Tom, thank you all for how well you have cared for my family and me, showing us the love of Christ. We moved to Cape Coral from Naples. Thank you, Pastor Tom. Prayers, support, this process. I imagine that transitioning into this role would be difficult, but I cannot overstate my appreciation for court administration. Smoothly and efficiently, they made the whole process. Scott Wilson and his team, phenomenal, even to this day. Getting my office up and running thing. Of course, my office couldn't function the way that it should without the help of my judicial assistant, Femi Young. Femi, thank you so much for everything that you do, for all of your hard work. Thank you for that beautiful rendition. You're always so soft-spoken. I didn't realize you had that. I want to thank my bailiff, Jim Hanley, keeping me safe and secure in my courtroom, and for keeping me company the many long days and hours of Zoom hearings. You and I were the only ones in the courtroom. I kept my promise to you. I promised you that the day was coming when we would have a courtroom full. To the Conference of County Court Judges, local bar associations, thank you for all of these kind gifts and your kind words. Let me also thank the Lee County Bar Association for all the great work that they do, and let me apologize for taking so long to get you a picture of me. State Attorney Mayor Fox, thank you for all of your support in this process, for having given me the privilege to serve the good people of our five-county circuit, the contributions that you allowed me to make, you and Mr. Russell, for all the wonderful people that I got to work with while I was there, many of whom I see here. Let me just say how grateful I am that you came out here and showed support. When I left the state attorney's office, I told the post-conviction unit, as well as Mary and Rich, that during the time I was at the state, I got to do a lot of interesting work, a lot of interesting cases. But from the day that I started until the day that I left, the best part of that job was the people that I got to work with. Attorneys, investigators, support staff, administration, all of you were wonderful. Thank you. To the members of the Judicial Nominating Committee, thank you for your utmost professionalism and thoroughness in evaluating me, vetting my application, and putting me on a list among a group of such well-qualified, talented attorneys, all of whom I greatly respect. I'm deeply grateful to Governor Ron DeSantis. I'm thankful to him and to his general counsel for selecting me to this position. I will do everything in my power to uphold the confidence that you placed in me, respect the limited role of the judiciary by faithfully interpreting the law as written, saying what that law is and not what I think it ought to be. Remembering always that as a judge, I sit on a bench, not a throne. To my colleagues in the circuit, thank you for welcoming me so graciously into this new role. Some of you I practiced in front of when I was a prosecutor. I watched you closely. I learned from you. And I trust the lessons that I learned not only made me a better attorney, I hope will make me an even better judge. Some of the finest people that I know. And let me take the opportunity to thank my mentor, Judge Josephine Gagliardi. I did not know Judge Gagliardi before I started in this position, only by name. But in the 8 or 9 months that I've gotten to know her, I feel I have known her my whole life. Thank you, Judge. I'm sure some of my kids feel the same. To the attorneys, judges, retired judges, members of the legal community, friends, everyone who supported my nomination, wrote letters for me, made calls for me, received calls for me, gave me advice. Thank you. Thank you. Dad, thank you. It's been a privilege knowing and working with all of you. And interestingly, although I spent my career at the state attorney's office, I know that much of my support, even strongest support, came from the defense side. Public defenders, regional counsel, and private defense law. Many of you to thank, but I am grateful. Now to my family, I haven't been to an investiture yet where family was not the most important, decisive influence of a person becoming a judge. My case is no different. To me, family is one of God's greatest gifts. In fact, appreciate Judge Sweat. When we were in the elevator, he reminded me of that when I was considering postponing this. My parents, thank you for your love, your support, encouragement, years, the world to me. Although Lisa said growing up in a military family had its challenges, I am grateful. Its challenges broadened my view of the world, taught me to adapt, constant change. Watching your service gave me a deeper, more abiding love and appreciation for this United States of America. As well, your examples of sacrifice for family and this great country. I will never forget. To my uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces and nephews, siblings, in-laws, relatives who came here from far places. Thank you for coming. Your love for me is without question. Richly blessed and such a wonderful. I love all of you, and I treasure each and every one. Speaking of treasure, Florida, the crown jewel of that treasure. I wouldn't be here without you. I wouldn't want it. I can recall after the birth of our 5th child, I returned to work within a couple of days. At the time, I was working here in the Economic Crimes Unit. When I got back to the office, I got a call from a defense attorney on the East Coast. Very successful, highly accomplished defense attorney. He knew that I was going to be out of the office because my wife was expecting. So he was going to leave me a message. When I answered the phone, he was surprised. And he said to me, "Wow, what dedication. Already back to work so soon after the birth of your child." And I responded to him, actually, the real work is back at home. The dedicated one is my wife. With 5 kids, all under the age of 10, back at home, I came to the office to get a break. He laughed and said to me, having young children of his own and being married, he said to me, "Isn't that the truth? The real work, the hard work is back at home. I can come to the office and get a break. Or you rarely get a break. But your tireless, your dedication to the kids, homeschooling them, family, unwavering in your loyalty to me. And after all of that, you take the time to show compassion and kindness to our neighbors, church, and strangers. The truth of the matter is that my wife is far more deserving of recognition than my children. Thank you, children, for sitting still. I know you've been watching, you've been looking around, and I want you to look around. All of this you see is in honor of your father. And it's a wonderful thing to be honored in this way, given the title of judge. Like I said at the beginning, it's one of the great honors of my life. It's a lot to take in. But if you remember anything else from today, you need to remember this: that all these honors are a small thing to me compared with the honor of being called your father. Bearing the title of dad. That's the title I wear most proud of. Don't forget it. Of all of you, incredibly proud. Well, I stand here by the grace of God, humbly and gladly accept this privilege of serving as your Lee County Judge. I will strive every day to uphold the oath that I took to support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and the state of Florida, and to faithfully discharge my duties, so help me God.
Okay. On behalf of the judges of the 20th Judicial Circuit, we welcome you, Judge Leontiev. Judge Leontiev and his family invite you to join them for a reception on the second floor outside courtrooms 2A and 2B. Welcome aboard. Okay, wonderful investiture. At this point, the court will be in recess.
All rise. Court is adjourned.
Thank you for everything, as always. Keep track of all the time.